President Donald Trump said on Monday he is revoking Secret Service protection for Hunter and Ashley, former President Joe Biden's children. His decision came after a reporter asked Trump earlier in the day about an unverified claim that Hunter Biden recently traveled to South Africa while accompanied by 18 Secret Service agents.
There were 18 Secret Service agents protecting Hunter Biden in South Africa this weekend. Who's paying for that, and do you plan to revoke the Secret Service protection?
Well, we have done that with many. I would say if there are 18 with Hunter Biden, that will be something I'll look at this afternoon, okay?
Sir?
I just heard about it for the first time. So you have 18 Secret Service going, where is he exactly?
In South Africa.
In South Africa. And South Africa, you know, is on a watch list, you know that. Because what they're doing to people is brutal. And I've stopped having money go to South Africa, you know that. Billions of dollars. So he's in South Africa. That's very interesting. All right, I'm going to take a look at that. Thank you very much.
Caroline Leavitt highlights the cost-effectiveness of deporting individuals, saying it costs pennies of the dollar to send deportees to El Salvador compared to keeping them in the U.S.
It was approximately $6 million to El Salvador for the detention of these foreign terrorists. And I would point out that is pennies on the dollar in comparison to the cost of life and the cost it would impose on the American taxpayer to house these terrorists in maximum security prisons here in the United States of America. And I would echo the message of our Secretary of State, Marco Rubio, who expressed his gratitude to President Bukele and El Salvador's government for their cooperation in this deal.
Stephen Miller urged that a judge order blocking deportations was unlawful, calling it an attack on the Constitution and national sovereignty. He emphasized that the American people supported deportation policies, including using the Alien Enemies Act, and criticized the judge for overstepping presidential authority. Miller also noted the president has the broad powers to remove illegal aliens and ensure safety.
The actions of the Departments of Justice, Homeland Security, and Defense were not in conflict with the judge's order. But at the same time, it is also true that the judge's order was patently unlawful. Beyond unlawful, it was an outrageous assault on the Constitution, an outrageous assault on the sovereignty of the nation, and on democracy itself. The American people voted for this specific action to occur, and it has occurred, and it is occurring, and it will continue to occur.
Please support the channel by liking and subscribe to the channel. Join the Notice family for your top trending videos and top highlights. And without wasting much more time, let's continue. A federal judge ordered the Trump administration to bring back the U.S. Agency for International Development, which is the USAID, on Tuesday while the case continues. The judge said that Elon Musk and his Department of Government Efficiency probably broke the U.S. Constitution in several ways with their effort to shut down the agency.
A federal judge has decided that Elon Musk's Department of Government Efficiency, DOG, probably broke the law by trying to shut down the U.S. Agency for International Development, USAID. The judge ordered them to stop shutting things down, including firing employees and closing offices, and said they must restore email and computer access for USAID workers.
NASA astronauts Sunita Williams and Wilmore have safely returned to Earth after unexpectedly prolonged mission aboard the International Space Station, initially launched in June 2024 for an 8-day mission. Their return was delayed due to propulsion issue with Boeing's Starliner capsule. This led to an extended stay over 9 months, during which they celebrated multiple holidays in space.
Coming from the WB-57 high-altitude plane, and there you see it on your screen, drogue deployment.
Drogue descent rate nominal.
You can hear the crowd here.
Visual on 2 healthy drogues.
The crowd here very excited as Dragon Freedom continues to make its way back to planet Earth.
Next up, we'll stand by for the main deployment of the parachutes. The mains are quite a bit larger. You'll be able to notice the difference on your screen once they deploy, and they continue to ensure that the Dragon spacecraft slows down even further. As we mentioned, Freedom will be traveling 16
Copy, 200 meters. Brace for splashdown.
As you can see there on your screen, continuing to monitor progress of the Dragon spacecraft. And we're going to stand by for splashdown located in the Gulf of America off the coast of Tallahassee, Florida.
And splashdown. Crew 9 back on Earth.
President Vladimir Putin agreed to a 30-day pause on attacks against Ukraine's energy and infrastructure targets after a 2-hour phone call with President Donald Trump. The agreement marks the start of peace efforts between Russia and Ukraine.
Russia President Vladimir Putin agreed Tuesday to immediately implement a 30-day pause on striking Ukrainian energy and infrastructure targets following a highly anticipated phone call with President Donald Trump that lasted more than 2 hours. Trump and Putin agreed that the movement toward peace would begin with an agreement between Russia and Ukraine to stop attacks on energy and infrastructure targets, according to a White House summary of the call. Putin immediately gave the Russian military the corresponding order, according to a translation of the Kremlin's description of the call.
Before his call with President Donald Trump, Russian President Vladimir Putin joked about the timing during a conference in Moscow.
И учитывая, что, судя по заявлениям Дмитрия Сергеевича Пескова, у вас разговор должен до 18 часов состояться с Дональдом Трампом. Не знаю, насколько он... Работа такая. Ну, не знаю, сейчас надо посмотреть, что на эту фразу скажет Трамп. Может быть, он любит интервью давать, может, уже отреагирует.
Трампа не упоминал, я
Не-не-не, он знает, что у нас дискуссия есть.
NASA's stranded astronauts have finally come back to Earth after spending 9 months on the International Space Station. They were with Crew 9 astronauts, NASA Nick Hague and a Russian astronaut. A recovery ship pulled the capsule from the water and placed it on the deck. The 4 astronauts slowly came out through the hatch and took their first breath of fresh air in months.
And that is NASA astronaut Nick Hague, commander of Crew 9. Now out of Crew Dragon Freedom. Some smiles, thumbs up, and a wave. Can't get any better than that. Next up, out of the capsule, we expect Roscosmos cosmonaut Alexander Gorbanov.
That is none other than Sunny Williams. Big smile, big waves.
That leaves NASA astronaut Butch Wilmore.
Once again, some elation and cheers there.
Israeli airstrikes in Gaza have resulted in over 400 Palestinian deaths, ending a ceasefire that had lasted since January. These strikes targeted Hamas positions, but also affected civilians, including women and children. In response, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu vowed to continue military operations until all hostages taken by Hamas are freed and the group is dismantled.
Israeli airstrikes on Gaza have killed over 400 Palestinians, according to Gazan officials. The attacks targeted multiple areas, causing widespread destruction and civilian casualties. The ongoing violence has exacerbated the region's humanitarian crisis, with rescue operations and medical teams struggling to manage the high number of casualties. International calls for a ceasefire and investigations into the airstrikes have grown amid mounting global concern.
White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt was corrected by a reporter regarding the payment of tariffs under the Trump administration's economic policies. Leavitt has suggested that China will bear the burden of the tariffs, but the reporter clarifies that, in reality, American consumers and businesses have largely shouldered the costs.
I'm sorry, have you ever paid a tariff? Because I have. They don't get charged on foreign companies. They get charged on the importers.
And ultimately, when we have fair and balanced trade, which the American people have not seen in decades, as I said at the beginning, revenues will stay here, wages will go up, and our country will be made wealthy again. And I think it's insulting that you're trying to test my knowledge of economics and the decisions that this president has made. I'm now regret giving a question to the Associated Press. Mary.
God bless you for watching, and don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, leave your comments below, and hope to see you in the next trending topic.